Hi, welcome to the Poirier Pocket. If you're new here, I'm Mandy. This is our baby girl. We are expecting in a few months. I am nearly halfway there, so we're very excited. Now that I'm in the second trimester, I wanted to make a list of like the most memorable things from the first trimester while it's still kind of fresh on my brain, because forgetfulness is huge. I think when like big things are happening, sometimes you get like moments that are more memorable, but I just want to remember all of it, so I'm trying to just be really intentional. So see if you relate if you are pregnant or when you become pregnant, if these are memorable for you. Of course, the nausea. I had it really easy for sure. Also, it's just funny because like when you're going through it, you don't realize how much it's happening. It just like came up whenever it wanted to, but it also wasn't that hard to deal with. Like if you've never been pregnant, it wasn't that bad. I got very, very lucky again. Okay, so number 2 most memorable things about the first trimester. These aren't in any sort of order, but the next one I came up with was the Netflix shows that the Netflix shows that I really got into, which were the Great British Baking Show and Gilmore Girls. I just started like binge watching those in the middle of the night, kind of like the middle of the morning when it's still like way too early, like 4 or 5. Sometimes I'd wake up at 2 and I would just get that feeling of like wide awakeness, and just learned when to stop fighting it and to just go out in the living room and enjoy a show that could like calm me down, not stress me out too much, but also like get my mind off of like forcing myself to sleep, because it was just not worth fighting. For some reason, you're the most tired in the middle of the day, but in the middle of the night, it's like, you know, time to party. I don't know what that is about my experience with the first trimester, but insomnia was like one of the first signs that something new was going on in my body. I also remember just watching like nothing for hours. Not so much scrolling, but just kind of sitting and not needing much entertainment and not having the energy to really move, and just staying put and kind of lost in thought, but mostly just totally zoning out. So number 3, anxiety about all the things. There's so much unknown. You just feel so unsettled, and like, what am I supposed to do until I get to that like safety of 13 weeks where I'm out of the first trimester, because you're just getting like your hopes up and you're getting so excited, but also like it just feels too soon and you can't really tell people, and you just, I don't know, there's a lot of anxiety about any little thing that happens too. And luckily I have had a super healthy pregnancy, so I haven't even like dealt with spotting or anything like that. If I had to deal with that, my mind would be totally losing it. But luckily I didn't have to deal with that, and it wasn't like, right now I'm not that anxious, but like I'm learning that I do have anxious thoughts, and I've got to like talk them out and ask for help and ask for a reality check, because I think with just the heightened hormones, there's so much going on as far as anxiety. All right, the next one is, it's so memorable, that first moment finding out that I was pregnant. That was so exciting, and I'm so glad that I caught it on tape, and that lead up, because I was not expecting it this time. I had the same feelings that I had every other month, where I just knew like my hope is kind of up right now, but there wasn't really any clear symptom that was like, I've got to go check. It was more so like, don't check, wait for your period, wait one more day. And I was like, no, I gotta do it. I gotta just be on the journey, go through it one more time, the emotional roller coaster of getting the most clear negative ever. And then when like the faintest line appeared, I even was talking when I was like turning it over and in shock, just, wait, what? That wasn't supposed to happen, but it was supposed to happen. Yeah, super cool. I'll link that video in case you want to go see that play out. Oh, this was a weird one. There's a lot of like, you're trying to pay attention to your body at the beginning and like, do I feel pregnant? What's going on? And for me, there was a lot of like stretching and cramping that started just in like a really low area. It was strange. It was pretty strong, but it wasn't painful. It was, in a way, it was like I had just done an ab workout, and so that like anytime you use your ab muscles, and just the way it felt to like, yeah, just try to poop or try to do different things where it was like straining those muscles for a second, it'd be like, oh boy, yeah. It felt so weird because I didn't think that should happen so early when it's not like my uterus was growing that much, but maybe it was. And that was really early on. I wanted to make sure I remembered that because that is so easy to forget when it ended pretty shortly after. Another funny one is just how amazing plain bread was. Again, I didn't think I was having that many food aversions, but then I started realizing I was craving very plain things, and that was kind of sneaking in. And so plain bread, just the smell, I could toast it, I could leave it. It was gonna be like a feast. I was just so excited for that. Like, I could eat other things, but that was the best. All right, so I've only got two more. One, people's reactions of us telling them the news. You never know what they're gonna feel, because it's like sometimes your feelings come later, and I know when people told me and I was like going through a hard season, it was just hard. So I didn't want to put the expectation that they had to be excited, because it can be triggering to hear like whatever. But then, people were great. Like, they were so excited for us, and the people that knew where our journey was at with it all, they could just tell that we were so excited, and people have been so, so kind. I'm just so glad that I shared that part of the story. It definitely did make sense to be vulnerable and to connect with people and celebrate and have that joy now of like, this is such great news, and just praise God and all of it. The last one's a sweet one. This one is how often Chris would remind me that all of this was because I was pregnant, finally pregnant. He was so sweet about when I would be zoning off, or I'd be like, oh my gosh, my stomach is hurting right now. The weirdest things, he'd be like, remember why? Because you're pregnant. And I would kind of be in somewhat of a downer attitude, and that would just like warm my soul, because it just felt like he saw me and he saw the whole journey, and he knew how much I would be excited to be pregnant. It's just been a dream to have that experience, and I'm in it right now, and it's so cool. But it's also one of those things that's like, it's so surreal, and to be reminded that you're in it. You are living it currently, even though there's hard moments, you're in it, right? Like, how cool. And I don't know why he had the sense to do that, but I'm so thankful that he did. That was a really, really beautiful part of the first trimester. If you're a spouse watching this, remind your partner, but do it softly, because it's also very hard to be giving life to this thing that you can't see yet. And yeah, find a way to just encourage a lot in the first trimester, and just send love their way and recognize them and see them and congratulate them, because it's just a lot mentally. I think that's the number one thing, is just what a mental transition it is, without necessarily there being a physical proof yet. And there's all this waiting until you get a doctor to show you, and the ultrasound and all that. So much anticipation to get there, and then so much anticipation to get to the next step, which feels so far away, but it really did fly by, those teen weeks for sure. And yeah, now we're at week 19, almost to week 20 here in just a few days, and can't wait to see baby again. that was something I didn't know, was that you don't really get a ton of ultrasounds for a while, and every one is so special. They're just so valuable. But anyway, that is the Poirier Pocket. If you like to watch more pregnancy content, we're only halfway, so there's going to be more, and then you'll get to see the update of when our little girl is here, and just the fun random things that we experiment with along the way, like the old wives' tales. Who knows what's ahead? But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.